Hi everyone, my name is Deepti. Welcome back to my channel, a place where you can learn at your own pace. In today's video, we will focus on the speaking section. The topic that we are going to take today is how to greet the examiner. So this is something that will start before your part 1 or the main speaking exam starts. So this is going to be your first conversation with the examiner. So let's see how we can make the most of it. Please remember, you are not going to be graded for this, but how do we sound natural? How do we make ourselves look more presentable? And how do we use correct English in this section? That is what we are going to discuss in this video. So let's start. So we are going to discuss the 4 important questions in the video that the examiner will always ask you before your part 1 starts. We will do a few tips on body language in this video, and we will also discuss what are the ideal answers you can give when the examiner asks you a question. We will also talk about grammar and pronunciation. At the same time, we will also discuss what you should not speak. So the first question that the examiner would ask you is, good afternoon. My name's Maria Parker. What's your full name? Or the examiner could also ask, could you tell me your full name? Now, in this case, a good answer should be good afternoon. That is how you return the greeting. And usually in India, we will not take the name of the examiner. So we could say good afternoon, ma'am or sir. And in a regular sense, if you feel that the examiner comes from a context where it is okay to take full name of a person, in that case, you could say good afternoon and take the first name of the examiner. But if you are in India, let's stick to good afternoon, sir or ma'am. And then you reply, my name's Ria Singh. Now, in this case, we need to understand the importance of contractions. Now here, instead of saying, my name is Ria Singh, we will say, my name's Ria Singh, or whatever your name is, you can add that. Now here, name apostrophe S is actually a contraction of name is. Now, when you're a native speaker, you don't use the helping verbs completely. You use them in contractions. Instead of saying I will, we'll say I'll. And instead of saying we are, we can say we're. So the contractions make you sound more natural with English, and that is why these are important. Also, we will not say good afternoon, Miss Maria. That is not a correct way of putting it in. Now, what you need to focus on here is speak each word clearly, which means you should neither speak too fast nor too slow. And don't forget to smile a little. A smile makes you look confident. So these are a few tips pertaining to your intonation and body language that you should focus on. Another important aspect of intonation is when you are saying important words in a sentence. Now, in this sentence, your name is important. So you can say it a little louder. So instead of saying, my name is Ria Singh, you can say, my name is Ria Singh. So that little loudness will make you sound more confident. So this is all about the first question. Now let's move to the second question. In the second question, the examiner would ask you, what can I call you? So in this case, you can say a few things. Out of these 3 sentences, you can choose any one. Either you can say, you can call me Ria. Please call me Ria, or just call me Ria. So these are some good alternatives in which you can answer this particular question. Please don't get involved into answering the question further by explaining your name, meaning to the examiner, or adding any other details. Just don't do that. Okay? So in this question, which is the third question, the examiner would ask you, where are you from? Or in other words, could you tell me where you come from? Now, in this case, you can reply by saying the name of your country. I'm from Singapore. I come from Nepal. Now here also you see we are using contractions. Instead of saying I am, we'll say I'm from. Now in India, most of the cities that we come from, they have a Hindi name also. Like Mumbai is used for Bombay, Delhi is used for Delhi. Now in such cases, if you want to tell the name of your city, which is a nice way of being specific, you should use English words or English pronunciations. Okay, this is very important to understand as Indians specifically. Use English pronunciations of the names of places. So you should say, I'm from Bombay, which is in the west of India. So this much of elaboration is the maximum that you should go to. Do not expand further. Do not start talking about your city. And never ever ask the examiner a question like, where are you from? Please don't do that. Okay. So let's see what is the last question about. In the last question, the examiner would ask you about your identification. So your identification is actually your ID, which in the common scenario is your passport here. So the examiner would ask you, could I see your identification, please? Or in other words, can you show me your identification, please? In this case, you will take out your identification and you will give it to the examiner. And while you are doing that, you could say one of these three. Either you can say, of course, here it is. Or you may say, sure, here you are. You could even say, here you are. So out of these three, you could choose any one response and give your identification to the examiner. Please remember to keep your response short. So these sentences are good enough. You can choose any one response from here. All are correct. You may also choose not to say anything and just plainly give your passport to the examiner. Even that is fine. But it's nice to add a sentence here. And when the examiner returns your ID, you may want to say thank you as courtesy. So these were a few tips that come into existence, come helpful when the exam has not yet started and you are supposed to leave a first impression. So let's make sure we are leaving a good one by following these tips. Happy learning, keep evolving. I hope you found these strategies useful. So don't forget to like my video, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and press the notification bell so you never miss an update. If you're interested in taking online classes, one-to-one sessions, you can contact me on Instagram or Facebook.